Welcome to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe in the studios of our flagship station, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. In addition, today, as always, we're also on Birmingham Area Municipal Access and City Cable 15 of Southfield. Those three channels. Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99. You can also find us live and live to tape on the Media Network of Waterford and on Orion Neighborhood Television on Comcast Channel 10 and AT&T Channel 99 as well. Find us on the radio, of course, our flagship station, Lakes FM, but also in the Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, and Troy area on 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, a service of the Bloomfield Hills School District. You can join us online, civiccentertv.com. Click on our Watch Live link at the top of our homepage on your computer web browser. It's going to be in a drop-down menu on the left side of your screen on your cell phone if you're viewing us there. But you can view us on your cell phone, view us on your computer, or view us at home on your TV as well. Also join us online on My Michigan TV or MyMy. That is MyMyTV.com for all of our live shows, or at least most of them. Usually we're over there. And then some of our live to tape interviews as well will be posted on My Michigan TV, and you'll be able to find other original programming from them, such as Steve Leto Live from 12 noon to 1 p.m. and coverage of live events all across the state of Michigan. Again, it's My Michigan TV, and you can also download their free app on your smartphone and your smart TV as well. And if you're unable to remember every single one of those television, radio, and web outlets and all of their websites and all the places you can find them, we have that for you on our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast. Just go over there. We have direct links to each and every one of our partnering television, radio, and web outlets, so you can learn more about them and find out all the other programming they do in the 22 other hours of the day, Monday through Friday, as well as on the weekends on their stations also. And our Megacast page is also where you'll find our full interviews and our full episodes on demand. We know it's tough to join us from 10 a.m. until 12 noon, especially now that you're going to be taking an extra half hour out of your morning, joining us for the Splash Live from 9:30 until 10. That's a long time to stay tuned with us for 2.5 hours. So if you need to cut out the Megacast for a little bit, come back later. All those episodes on our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast. And then right next door to that is our coronavirus page, arguably the most important page on the entire internet, as we have links to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Oakland County Health Division's direct COVID-19 web pages with up-to-date information on the novel coronavirus, the ongoing pandemic, vaccines, and more. So you can keep up to date with the information, do your own research, so to speak, or keep up to date on factual information from experts on these topics, and stay up to date and learn more about the ways you can protect yourself, your family, and others from the spread of COVID-19. We have links, of course, as I said, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Oakland County Health Division, and even some of our local municipalities here in Oakland County, where we originate our broadcast each and every day, so that you can keep up to date with how COVID-19 may be affecting municipal business in your hometown, in your home state, and all across the U.S. In addition, on our coronavirus page, we go across publications and journals and newspapers all across the state of Michigan every single day to find the most up-to-date information on important stories regarding COVID-19 and much more. And we post summaries and full links to those articles on our website at civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. And making news today, good news is Michigan is doing one thing better than every other state in the United States. The bad news is that thing is catching COVID. This story from the Detroit News: Michigan leads the nation in new COVID-19 cases, according to CDC data. This article by Craig Mauger of the Detroit News. Michigan again leads the country in new COVID-19 cases per population over the last 7 days, according to tracking data on Tuesday from the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The state has reported a 7-day new case rate of 504 cases per 100,000 residents, the highest number nationally, the CDC found. Minnesota followed closely at 490 cases per 100,000. The figures are another setback in the state's 20-month-plus fight with the virus, and came amid spikes in new infections that are testing the capacity of Michigan's hospital systems. During a Tuesday press conference 9 days before the Thanksgiving holiday, Henry Ford Health System officials described the trends in COVID-19 in the state of Michigan as, quote, very alarming, and closed quote. From Dr. Adnan Munkara, the Chief Clinical Officer for the Detroit-based Henry Ford Health System, he said, "We are gravely concerned. We are hoping that we would be in a better situation than this during this Thanksgiving than we were last year, especially with the availability of vaccines. We've been watching with trepidation and worry the number of COVID-19 cases climbing and rising throughout our community and around the state," end close quote. Munkara urged those planning to gather for Thanksgiving next week to get vaccinated, saying, quote, "Vaccine status continues to be the most important and paramount thing in keeping all of us safe. So for those of you who are gathering with family, we hope that you have been vaccinated because this provides significant safety and protection for all of you," end close quote. Statewide COVID-19 hospitalizations and the percentage of tests bringing positive results have been slowly trending upwards for several months, but over the last 2 weeks, they have jumped even more quickly. Last week, 16.4% of Michigan's COVID-19 tests came back positive, the second highest weekly rate since June of 2020, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. The highest rate during the first full week of April was at 16.5%. Likewise, at Spectrum Health in West Michigan, Dr. Daryl Elmoki said that the number of COVID-19 inpatients has been slowly increasing since the summer. Then, over the last 2 weeks, there was a quote-unquote dramatic shift upward. As of last week, 85% of patients with COVID-19 were not vaccinated, said Dr. Elmoki. Bob Riney, Henry Ford's chief operating officer, tied the current trends to the percentage of Michigan residents who are not fully vaccinated, about 46% of those ages 5 and older, and transmission at schools, where masking discipline and social distancing have decreased compared with last year. On November 15th, a year ago, Governor Whitmer announced restrictions on dining at restaurants and in-person high school and college classes to try to combat the spread of COVID-19. That surge peaked in early December. It's unclear whether the current jump in cases will follow a similar pattern. Whitmer's spokesperson, Bobby Letty, gave no indication this week that the governor's administration will use its emergency powers to intervene, saying, quote, "We continue to encourage Michiganders to get vaccinated, as this is the best way to keep people safe and ensure that businesses and schools can safely operate. The vast majority of Michiganders have done the right thing to protect themselves and their families by getting vaccinated, wearing a mask in indoor gatherings, getting tested, and quarantining after exposure, or staying home if they feel unwell. For those who aren't vaccinated, it's even more important to take these scientifically proven precautions to reduce the risk of catching the virus and minimize possible symptoms in the event of exposure. We all have the tools at our disposal to slow the spread and keep ourselves safe," end close quote. A coalition named Michigan Parents Alliance for Safe Schools repeated its calls for statewide mask requirements and consistent quarantine practices in schools, saying, quote, "The connection between overwhelmed hospitals and schools without mask requirements is clear. It's long past time for policymakers to require everyone to do their part, even those who have been fooled by anti-science rhetoric, by requiring universal masking in schools," said Emily Melitz, a Macomb County parent, in a Tuesday statement from the organization. Munkara, the Henry Ford doctor, said people should get vaccinated. They are attending Thanksgiving gatherings and open windows at their homes so air can circulate at these events. Quote, "By all means, if you are not feeling well, if you are running a fever or are short of breath or are tired and suspect that you might have either the flu or COVID-19, please stay home." That full article from Craig Mauger of the Detroit News, posted on our website, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. And as more parents are calling for universal masking rules in schools and policies in our schools, Bridge Michigan's reporting Michigan schools are closing because of staffing shortages and say, get used to it. In Southfield Public Schools, north of Detroit, students are in classrooms just 4 days a week through at least January. In nearby Novi, kids have to find their own way to school on Fridays because buses aren't running on those days. At rural Allegan County Hopkins Public Schools, south of Grand Rapids, classes were canceled for 2 days last week, while at the very large Ann Arbor Public Schools, one or more buildings have been closed at least 6 times since fall classes began. Schools across Michigan are closing or are going remote for days at a time, often with little notice. And while COVID-19 infections continue to play a role in these closures, the primary problem appears to be the same one plaguing corner coffee shops and factory floors across the state: a shortage of workers. Some districts don't have enough bus drivers to get students to school. others can't find enough teachers and substitutes to lead classrooms. Bridge, Michigan spoke to school leaders about staffing shortages. None were optimistic about finding a quick solution to a crisis that has been brewing for many years. Quote, "It's like you're hanging by a string and the string is losing strands," said Adam Zemke, president of Launch Michigan, a school advocacy group. Zemke continued on, "COVID was the breaking point," and closed quote. So the question is then posed, are school closings increasing? The official count of closures won't be known until the end of the school year when districts submit reports to the Department of Education, but there's a consensus among school leaders that closures have skyrocketed. According to Fox 2 Detroit, an email to Southfield parents said stressors on families and educators, including labor shortages, increased seasonal illness, and food supply chain disruptions, have created a, quote, less than optimal learning environment, and closed quote. These closings don't include the thousands of students, sometimes an entire classroom or building at a time, that have had to stay home because of coronavirus outbreaks. So, why this is a problem right now? School leaders spoke to Bridge to point to long-term systemic issues. Teachers retired at a higher rate during the pandemic, while fewer college students were graduating with education degrees, a problem that spans years before the pandemic, creating teacher shortages, particularly in some specialties, such as special education. That reason has less to do with Michigan's long-term teacher shortage than with lower-paid workers that keep schools operating. It's probably familiar to a lot of Michigan businesses. There are 190,000 fewer people in labor force in the state of Michigan than in February of 2020 before the pandemic struck the state. So, going further down in the article, Bridge asks the question, what do we do now? Are there any short-term answers? The only quick fix to staffing shortages for school districts to open up is for these school districts to open up their checkbooks, and some are actually doing it. Mona Shores Public Schools south of Muskegon is offering a $2,500 signing bonus for new bus drivers and a $500 finder's fee for any district employees who recommend a new driver. In Oakland County, Huron Valley Schools are offering a $600 signing bonus for new drivers as well. But even financial incentive programs have drawbacks. School officials say signing bonuses in one school district sometimes lure workers from neighboring schools, just shuffling staff shortages across district lines. This full article from Bridge, Michigan Magazine on our website, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. Lastly, making headlines today from the Oakland Press, studies are showing COVID-19 vaccines for ages 5 to 11 years old may also prevent MIS-C for children ages 5 and up. Not only does the COVID-19 vaccine provide protection against the virus, it may also save lives and serious complications from MIS-C, or multi-system inflammatory syndrome, which is known to be an affliction in children who are infected with COVID-19. Multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children is a condition where different body parts can become inflamed, including the heart, lungs, kidney, brain, skin, eyes, or gastrointestinal organs, according to the Centers for Disease Control. In the United States, since the start of the pandemic, 48 children have died from MIS-C, while 5,526 have met the case definition, according to the CDC. In Michigan, there have been between 150 and 199 such cases. The median age of patients with MIS-C is 9 years old. Half of the children were between 5 and 13, according to the CDC. About 98% of patients had a positive test result for SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. The remaining 2% of patients had contact with someone with COVID-19, and 60% of reported patients were male, while 60% of patients with race or ethnicity information available occurred in children who were either Hispanic or Latinx populations, or Black and non-Hispanic populations. It is recommended you contact your child's doctor, nurse, or a clinic right away if your child is showing symptoms of MIS-C, which include ongoing fever plus one or more of the following symptoms: stomach pain, bloodshot eyes, diarrhea, dizziness or lightheadedness, signs of low blood pressure, skin rash, or vomiting, and not all children have the same symptoms. Quote, the people with the most robust immunity out there were infected with COVID and then followed it up with the vaccine, and close quote, said Dr. Body. He said that most individuals who have been infected with COVID do not have to wait to get the vaccine. The exceptions are those who received monoclonal antibody treatments and children who are sick or hospitalized with MIS-C. It's recommended that those patients wait 90 days after their infection has been cleared to get the shot. The next MDHHS virtual town hall on vaccines, particularly for kids 5 to 11 years old, will be at 12 noon on Thursday, November 18th. Again, 12 noon, that is tomorrow, Thursday, November 18th, and that will be live. Facebook.com/MichiganHHS. Facebook.com/MichiganHHS. That is the Facebook page of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. We have a great show ahead of you today. Coming up next, I'll be joined by Mickey Guisewite. He is the executive director and the founder of the Bottomless Toy Chest. They are partnering with Canterbury Village for their upcoming holiday stroll, as well as doing a lot of other great work in our community. They will join us as our Share Detroit charity of the day today, coming up next at 10:20. At 10:40, Robert Schickel, the president of ShopCadeaux, based in West Bloomfield, an online shop, will be joining us. Then at the bottom of the hour, that's at the bottom of the hour. Then at the beginning of the 11 o'clock hour, we'll be joined by Rabbi Kazriel Shemtov with the Chabad Lubavitch, joining us to talk about the Menorah in the D event coming up very soon. 11:20, Jason Wilhoit, the director of a Hunting Shack Christmas with the Farmington Players, will join us. And then we'll cap off the show at 11:40 with Dan Izadorek, the CEO of PC Miracles, talking about Fraud Awareness Week, which is this week. That is all coming up next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Neighborhood storm drains carry water directly to local creeks and streams. No filters, no treatment.
Storm drains also help reduce street flooding when it rains.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
It is easy to do your part by adopting a storm drain.
Find a storm drain, check it, and clear it every month.
So keep storm drains for rain only.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
If you are struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit, or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM.
We as Michiganders feel connected to this resource in a way that I think is really powerful.
Conservation starts with a caring, committed community.
For me, it's peaceful to have a relationship with the river.
Every single one of us has a role to make sure that those waterways stay safe and healthy, being careful about what goes down the storm drain.
Just even eliminating some of your single-use plastic makes a difference.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Did you know that nearly 3.31 million Americans don't get their annual checkup? Going to the doctor regularly is extremely important and is a crucial factor in maintaining good health. Make sure you are visiting your local doctor often and telling them about any health concerns you have. For more information, contact your local healthcare provider. This message is brought to you by WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Welcome back to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe here in our studios in West Bloomfield Township. Although we're broadcasting live all throughout the state of Michigan on a number of different community television and radio outlets here in Oakland County and online on places like My Michigan TV. You can learn more about everywhere that we broadcast live and find all of our full shows and full interviews on demand by going to our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast. And then on our coronavirus page for up-to-date information on COVID-19 all across the board from a number of trusted resources. And we do have some news coming in that the FDA is planning to authorize the Pfizer boosters for all adults before the week's end. That is currently being reported by Fox News, and so we'll see if that does happen at some point this week, but it is expected by the week's end that the FDA will authorize the booster shots for all adults. Right now, it's only for certain populations. Again, go to our website, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. Click on the CDC link, the State of Michigan link for the Health and Human Services Department, or the Oakland County Health Division webpage to learn more information about booster shots, eligibility, and where you can get your booster shot should you be interested and should you be eligible as well. As we've said many times before, now through the end of November, through November 30th, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:20 in our first interview slot, we'll be joined by a charity or nonprofit supported by Share Detroit as we approach and surpass Giving Tuesday. And one of those charities that's joining us now is the Bottomless Toy Chest, and their executive director, Mickey Guisewite, is now with us on the Megacast. Mickey, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So let's start off. Tell us a little bit about your 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Well, the Bottomless Toy Chest is a 501c3 nonprofit organization devoted to delivering toys, crafts, and hands-on activities to hospitalized pediatric cancer patients. And our mission is to promote a positive state of mind in young cancer and blood disorder patients by giving them something empowering to focus on while they are hospitalized and going through treatment. So we are extremely delighted to be part of, the larger mission of Share Detroit, because they're helping us get the word out about what we do and how people can help us locally.
We're joined by Mickey Guisewite. She is the executive director of the Bottomless Toy Chest, joining us today on the Megacast as one of our Share Detroit supported charities and nonprofits as we approach Giving Tuesday. And so you're the executive director of the Bottomless Toy Chest, but what was the purpose behind, or what was the story at least, behind the founding of this organization? Because we have a lot of organizations that are delivering different goods or different services to kids that are sick in the hospital for a number of different reasons, not only cancer or blood disorders, but other diseases and conditions as well. What ultimately led to the founding of the Bottomless Toy Chest?
Sure. I started the Bottomless Toy Chest after my own son went through 8 extremely difficult months of cancer treatment. So when he was 12 years old, our family heard the words no family wants to hear, which are, your son has cancer. And he went from being a completely normal, healthy 12-year-old boy doing normal 12-year-old things to, out of the blue, being diagnosed with an extremely aggressive form of leukemia. And it had already reached stage 4 by the time he was diagnosed. So as you can imagine, our entire life was turned upside down. He was pulled out of school. He was hospitalized. He spent most of the time in the hospital. And, as a parent, you want to be able to fix things, obviously. And cancer is something you cannot fix. So I spent as much time as I possibly could with him in the hospital day and night. But I just sat there going, this is really, really difficult situation. And what can I do to help my son, feel better and try to get through his treatment? And so I found that one thing I could do is bring him activities and toys to do while he was in the hospital getting treatment. And so I brought him Lego sets, and I brought him, things he could draw, things he could create, all things that he could do rather than all of the things that he couldn't do, seeing his friends, getting out of bed, pretty much doing anything. And I found that the more I could do to keep him busy and engaged and focused on positive things that he could do, the better he responded to his treatment. And, it made it easier for nurses to do their work, for the doctors to do their work. It made it better for my son, and it ultimately made it better for every single person involved. And so I promised myself, if we ever got to the other side of this, I really, really wanted to create a program that could help empower children with toys the way I had seen toys empower my own son when he went through treatment. And so I'm going to jump to the happy end of the story, which is miraculously my son did recover and completely. And I really, what started as a one hospital toy drive developed into a year-round program, which now operates in hospitals all throughout Michigan, as well as hospitals in Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Texas, Oregon. We're even shipping overseas. But we're all now in 18 hospitals, and we'll deliver over 30,000 interactive toy experiences this year. So a few things about our program that I think are a little bit different. We're not just a holiday toy program. We're a year-round program. I always say, cancer does not end when the holiday lights come down, and neither does our program. We are there every single week of the year providing toy experiences to children who are critically ill. We have a bunch of different programs associated with our, main toy delivery program. And something else I think that differentiates us from maybe some other programs, because you asked what makes us a little bit different. Sure. Every single toy that is delivered from the Bottomless Toy Chest is gift wrapped in cellophane, and it's tied with a ribbon, and it has a tag on it that says, "From your friends at the Bottomless Toy Chest." So we do this for a number of reasons. First, it's to keep the toys clean, because, most of the kids that we see aren't even able to use the hospital playrooms that other kids are able to use because their immune systems are so low. So it keeps the items clean. It gives children a choice and an opportunity to make a decision, and all of the, in a situation where all those decisions are pretty much made for them. And, lastly, who does not like opening presents? A visit from the Bottomless Toy Chest is like a, welcome relief in a day filled with difficult things and needle pokes and other difficult procedures. I mean, it's every day. It's sort of like your birthday or a holiday. We come in and we provide an emotionally empowering service to children who are having a really, really difficult time health-wise.
So these are really difficult situations for the children, obviously, but also for the families dealing with a severe illness in your yes. child, and especially over the last 20 months and counting that we've been dealing with COVID-19, that had to make that toll that much tougher. How did it impact? How has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted or changed in some ways the operations of the Bottomless Toy Chest, and how have you been able to persevere through the challenges of the past 20 months plus to continue these vital services for children?
Sure, that's just such a great question, because I think for everybody, the world kind of stopped, right? Didn't it? Yeah. About 20 months ago now, it's hard to believe, when COVID hit. And yeah, toy experience program, how are we going to make our programming work? How are the kids going to get the toys? How are, how is everything going to work? But at the Toy Chest, we're all about our program is based on what we can do versus what we can't do. I mean, that's what we try to impart to the kids we serve. So we really did switch up our programming. Instead of, in many cases, because of hospital protocols, we couldn't do in-person deliveries anymore, obviously, out of safety and health concerns. So we pretty much switched over to delivery service, where instead of going room to room with our cart, we would come to the hospital with our van, we would unload, we would work with the social workers and nurses, deliver toys directly to them, unload at the hospital door, then they would be responsible for, delivering the toys for us. We also have a bunch of other really fun programs throughout the year, aside from our delivery program, which, like I said, we handled by pulling up with a van or, shipping things by mail to the hospitals. Other programs that we have, like our Tons of Toys program, where we typically transform oncology waiting rooms into winter wonderlands and make a big party for the kids, and the families come and you can do crafts and games and you get, as I said, tons of toys. Well, that wasn't going to work last year. And so what we did is instead of having a party in the clinic, we literally created individual little parties for each patient that we serve, and had them delivered to the patients in the hospital. So that meant every kid got a few toys, every kid got a craft project, every kid, we also got we have our volunteer Santa who did a video, and there was a QR code on the toy that they received, so you could have a message from Santa. We also have other products. That's just one way we switch things up. Another way we switch things up is by we have a huge event called our red carpet movie event, which we typically every year have at the Imagine Theater in Royal Oak, where over 100 patients and family members come, have a viewing of a current movie. Afterwards, we would have a big party, pizza party, face painting, all that. Well, that wasn't going to work, and it hasn't worked now for 2 years, but I think we've actually problem solved and made a really, really cool adjustment for the families, and they love it. So what we do now is we have a red carpet movie event at our warehouse, and we have an individual party for every family. Every 30 minutes, a family comes to our warehouse. This is during the summer. The red carpet is rolled out. We have another organization provides Disney characters, superheroes and princesses to meet the kids. Every family then gets to do, movie-themed crafts and projects, and then leaves with big baskets filled with toys, their favorite toys. For the parents get things, the siblings get things, the patients get things. In the end, and they all get a gift certificate so they can go on, when they get home and watch a movie. So all of these things take a really terrible situation, going through cancer and being critically ill or in hospice care, and we try to create normal, fun activities for the family that they'll always remember no matter what happens. So those are just a few ways we switch things up. We also have been able to, during COVID, which has been really nice, provide some of our toys and activities to organizations that are dealing specifically with families who are going through COVID. So not necessarily cancer patients, but organizations like Sacred Heart Rehabilitation and Cass Community Social Services. I have a whole list of them. The Downtown Boxing Gym Youth Program, Life Skills Rehabilitation Center, the Lighthouse, Haven, Detroit Rescue Mission, Zayman International. These are all other organizations serving populations with families impacted by COVID that we've been able to help through the pandemic. You know, because in the end, we're one huge community trying to get through this together. And I can't, you know, in our case, the toy chest, I can't stress how difficult it is to, you know, have a child going through a life-threatening illness now during a life-threatening pandemic. So I think anything we can do to brighten their spirits and help make the families feel better and, you know, be in a better emotional state of mind, the better it is for everyone.
We're joined by Mickey Guisewite. She is the executive director and the founder of the Bottomless Toy Chest. You can learn more information about this nonprofit by going to their website at bottomlesstoychest.org. Again, that is bottomlesstoychest.org. And so we're in a season where people are looking to give, they're looking to volunteer, they're looking to donate. At this moment in time, what are the most important resources that are needed from your organization in order to continue your services?
Thank you so much for asking that question. Well, we're a toy organization, right? And we get the bulk of our toys that we distribute throughout the year during the holiday season. And if you happen to have been watching the news lately, which everybody has, all we hear about every day is there is a shortage of toys and there aren't as many toys as there have been in the past. So we really, really, really need toys. We have a toy list that you can find on our website, on the Share Detroit website. We make it really easy. You can order through Amazon. So obviously toys are a huge thing. Another way people can help, obviously, is by donating financially. We're a small organization, and like everybody else, you know, we're struggling to make ends meet and keep our program going. We have a very small dedicated team, and we need to keep our warehouse going. We need to be able to buy wrapping supplies and all that good stuff. So that's another way people can help. Also, I mentioned every single item we deliver is gift wrapped, right? Well, that's 30,000 toys a year. And I can tell you the 5 of us at the Toy Chest can't do that ourselves. We count on school groups and businesses and, you know, the entire community to make that happen throughout the year. So after January 1, when we have all of our toys, and we would really, really love for groups to help us with getting those toys wrapped so we can get them safely delivered to the hospitals. And then, you know, volunteering at events that we're going to be having throughout the year. That's another way people can help. So these are really some great key ways I think people can get involved and help us.
You can learn more information about all the ways you can help the Bottomless Toy Chest, as well as how you can donate by going to their website at bottomlesstoychest.org. Click on their Get Involved link to find out ways that you can get involved in some of their volunteer opportunities or helping with some of their distribution events as well. And then donate, of course, for donations and shop to be able to buy some of the toys that they're looking for as well. And then you can also go to sharedetroit.com to learn more about their organization and other nonprofits and charities throughout our local area. And so we're approaching Giving Tuesday, Mickey. How important are these kinds of national or worldwide efforts to support charities and nonprofits? Just how much of an impact do giving days like that have on organizations like yours?
You know, there are so many wonderful organizations out there doing great work, and we're one of many. But I can just tell you, and I think I speak for many organizations, we're, you know, it's small organizations like the Bottomless Toy Chest and like others that are, you know, doing big things in the community and serving certain populations. And we really, really can't do the work we do without giving and without the more so every single penny that comes in goes directly into our program and helps serve children who are going through cancer treatment and children in hospice care and children with blood disorders. I can't stress how important a day like Giving Tuesday is. I mean, it kind of means everything to us. So we really appreciate all of the support that we can get on that day. And obviously throughout the year, we're, as I said earlier, we're not just a holiday organization. We're here every single day bringing toys, joy, and hope to sick kids.
Mickey, just another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else that would be important at this time for our audience to know about the Bottomless Toy Chest, or other things that are coming up in the future that they should be on the lookout for from your organization?
Well, you know, we do have some very specific toy needs, and I know I think when we think about cancer patients, pediatric cancer, we think probably ages 3 to 10. But one thing I wanted to point out is that children can literally be born with cancer. We serve children, we serve infants. So we serve from infant age, 0, pretty much right, after giving birth, all the way through another huge group of children, not children anymore, but teens and young adults that we serve. So we're from 0 up to age 22. And I think a lot of the times the infants and also that teen group, which is a huge portion of the population that we serve, get not overlooked intentionally, obviously, but people just don't know that, we've got 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds that are sitting in a hospital bed, that, mom and dad are doing the best they can, but the family is financially strapped and overwhelmed by just getting through treatment. And so when we're looking to donate to the Toy Chest, those, we like getting things for all groups, but sometimes I think that if we could focus maybe a little on the infants and really, really on those teen girls and boys, young men and young women, we appreciate those gifts very much.
Well, Mickey, we appreciate your time. Thank you for telling us more about Bottomless Toy Chest.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Again, we'll be joined by different charities and nonprofits that are supported by Share Detroit every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during our 10:20 a.m. interview slot on the Megacast now through November 30th. If you'd like to learn more information about the Bottomless Toy Chest, you can visit their website at bottomlesstoychest.com .org, bottomlesstoychest.org to learn more information, or visit sharedetroit.org, where you can find more information about their nonprofit as well as others, and even shop on some of their Amazon wish lists and donate directly to them, and find volunteer opportunities as well, as we're in the thick of the holiday season, but also the giving season. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, as we talk about the holidays, we'll talk about gift shopping, and we are going to be joined now by a West Bloomfield-based online store that creates specialty gift package collections as we're approaching the holiday season. You might want some of their services. Coming up next, we'll be speaking with Robert Schickel, the president of ChopCadeaux, which is based out of West Bloomfield. That's up next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Most of the pollution that goes into our rivers is carried by rainwater that flows off of roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
The leaves and bark of a single tree can retain a surprising amount of rainwater. Depending on its size and species, it could be 100 gallons or more.
It is estimated that an urban forest can reduce annual runoff by up to 7%.
Here's one thing that we know can help keep our water clean.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
One of the things you can look for in your friends is a change in behavior. These can be big changes, they can be small changes in mood, physical appearance. They may be sleeping less or sleeping more, drinking more, or their eating patterns may be different.
One big change that can be pretty obvious is change in motivation. Do they no longer want to play basketball? Do they no longer want to play video games?
Now that we're spending more time online and in virtual settings, it's really important to pay attention to the language that your friend is using and the words they're using to communicate.
So when we text our friends, are they taking longer amounts of time to respond? Are they not responding at all? You don't have to be an expert to try to recognize these signs. The second that you feel it in your gut and that you're concerned, that's the second to have the conversation and open the door to what might be going on.
Today, it is easier than ever to join Michigan's Organ Donor Registry and help build a bridge of hope for organ, tissue, and eye donation. Just one person can potentially save or help improve the lives of up to 75 people. By joining, your legacy could be the gift of life. Sign up today at michigan.gov/SOS or at any of the more than 145 Secretary of State self-service stations located across Michigan. Be part of Michigan's Bridge of Hope by adding your name to the Organ Donor Registry.
Welcome back to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft in our studios here in West Bloomfield Township. Although we're broadcasting all throughout the state of Michigan on a number of different outlets, community television and radio, as well as online on our Facebook page, as well as on My Michigan TV. Learn more information on mymytv.com or by going to our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where we have links to every single one of our partnering outlets, as well as links to our full episodes and individual interviews on demand. Well, we're approaching the Thanksgiving and then the December holidays as well, and this is the time of the year where people are getting ready to go out and do their holiday shopping, or are doing their holiday shopping, getting those gifts early. But sometimes you want to just buy those gifts in bulk and get a specific package that is perfect for the person that you are giving a gift to. And one company that can help you with that is KaDoe, based right here in West Bloomfield, where we originate our broadcast. And joining us now is the president of KaDoe, Robert Schiekel, with us on the Megacast. Robert, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Tyler. Glad to be here.
Good having you on. So tell us a little bit about KaDoe and what services that you provide. It's an online shop over at ShopCadeaux.com.
Absolutely. ShopCadeaux is a online company, but we are focusing on corporate and personal gifts. Most of them are curated with high-quality products. And what we do is we're centered here in West Bloomfield, our fulfillment center. We ship nationwide. We have a wide range of customers like Nixon Library, Chapman University, Massimo, which is a very large company, and a lot of the hedge funds in New York. So we are helping to put West Bloomfield on the map. But most importantly, what we're doing is we're extending a culture of appreciation and showing companies how to do that for both their employees and their clients and customers. So everything from welcome packages for new employees, through birthday gifts, retirement, maternity gifts from a corporation, all the way to gifts for customers. So as you can imagine right now, with the holiday season, it's our peak time period. We have just recently gone from an online consumer company to focus on our corporate. So right now we have a unique opportunity for those people in Michigan, is that we have, with that change, I decided to liquidate a large amount of high quality consumer products for the whole family at 50% off. So we are very excited to be able to host at www.ShopCadeaux.com. And KaDoe, by the way, means gift in French. So we have a 50% off sale going on everything that you'll see. Brand new quality products, just things that are not going to be focused on our corporate selections. And so we have those available, whether somebody'd like to come and shop online or in person here on Haggerty Road, we welcome them.
We're joined by Robert Schiekel. He is the president of KaDoe, based in West Bloomfield. You can learn more information at ShopCadeaux.com. So your company, of course, specializes in corporate and personal gift giving. You have on your website at ShopCadeaux.com some examples of many different sort of packages that you can provide for housewarming, for welcoming a baby. Of course, you mentioned for new employees that may be coming to a company, or retirees, whatever the case may be. But there's also some customization availability as well. And so that kind of creates a lot of variables. It's a lot of different occasions, but also people can customize these packages as well. So how do you get all of the products? Because people might be listening or might be interested in these. They might want something that's a little bit out of left field, or a lot of variety in these packages that they're giving to someone. So how do you go about fulfilling these packages before you ship them out nationwide?
Tyler, that's a great question, especially for corporate gifting. There is not one company that wants a standard package. So we customize all of our curations specifically for their needs. Some of them like more technology. Some of them like to have a warmer feel. Some are a little edgier. We can put logos and names on everything from a water bottle, but more importantly, even all the way up to a cashmere throw. We have a wide range of products. We have some of the best gift ideas nationwide from some of the largest carriers who are really known, like Louis Sherry, a chocolatier in New York, with custom tins. So all of those are done through our sales group, where somebody just contacts us directly at www.ShopCadeaux.com and goes online and tells us as a corporation they're interested in corporate gifting. And we're able to do that. But we can do acquisitions that companies are announcing, employee incentives that they're doing, but nothing is ever standardized, and we promote that. We have a very unique, the appeal is in the reveal, we say. Our gift box is a keepsake box that has tissue, wax seal, ribbon. It is really intended to be a high-end and, more importantly, just an impressive gift for employees or clients.
We're joined by Robert Shekel. He is the president of Cadeaux, based in West Bloomfield. You can learn more information on their website, ShopCadeaux.com. And so with all that variety, with all the customization, as you mentioned, you're very much arranging these on a specialty customer-to-customer basis before you're shipping them out. There's not really a whole lot of standard nature to these different gift packages. With that being said, with all those variables being in place, we know the supply chain issues that are affecting retail businesses especially, but really businesses across every sector. How are those supply chain issues affecting Cadeaux and your ability, especially during peak season, which I would imagine this is, to provide your services?
Tyler, you couldn't set up a better question for me. Thank you. What we are essentially doing right now, we've ordered so much and have it in stock early. We attend all the major gift shows. I started buying in February at the beginning of the year. In the New York trade show, we've done Atlanta, all of those. So we are well stocked and prepared. And for the consumer gifts, as I was saying, because of the fact that we're no longer going to be carrying a lot of the consumer items that we have on the online store, we are liquidating those at 50% off, but we have everything from children's toys, clothing, men, women's, that are all immediately available at 50% off on the personal gift items. But from a corporate gift item, we are well stocked in some of the best Lexon names, or names like Lexon that we are carrying, that are really ideal for customers to be able to send immediately. So we have been very busy getting the orders in. As you can imagine, some corporate orders are sometimes as large as 500 items at the same time, and we are ready for them.
We're joined by Robert Shekel. He's the president of Cadeaux, based in West Bloomfield. Learn more information on their website at ShopCadeaux.com. Again, that is ShopCadeaux.com. And so as we're approaching the holiday season, obviously individuals are looking to do their holiday shopping for friends, for family, for coworkers, for whatever it may be, whatever may be the case. And then the companies are also looking to begin their own holiday festivities and their end of the year festivities as well, celebrating their employees. It's a busy season for you over at Cadeaux, and it could be, especially with the issues we're having right now, supply chain wise, that we just talked about, could be a busy season and a difficult season for people that are trying to get these specialty gifts put together. What are your suggestions for clients, corporate and individual, that are looking to shop with your company at this time to make sure that they're able to get what they're looking for during the holiday season?
Great. We're offering two very easy ways to be able to shop with ShopCadeaux.com. The first is obviously the website, where our prepackaged items and our individual items for friends, family are all on that website. You're able to shop directly from that. You'll get 50% off our items from retail pricing, which is really pretty much unheard of. We also are going to be having hours where people can come into our fulfillment center. We've created a small storefront at 3160 Haggerty Road in West Bloomfield. And what you'll be able to do is come in and shop. The items are already prepackaged, many of them, not all, but many of them are high quality prepackaged gift sets that we have. And the wrapping's done for you, the curation is done, the vessel is done, and all of that would be at 50% off if you want to shop in person and see that, if you enjoy it. We're also hosting small gifts, parties. If you want, just contact us, and we'd even be opening the store for you. But we'll be open to the general public Thursday and Friday from 10 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 5. So if somebody would actually really like to shop in person, see the merchandise, buy in bulk, or buy one-off prepackaged gifts, we're ready for you. If you want to be able to do it from the comfort of your home, COVID safe, you can also do that at www.ShopCadeaux.com, and we'll be able to have all that merchandise sent to you directly. As well, we can do the fulfillment right on the website and send that off to you. But either way, we're here for both consumer as well as corporate needs.
Again, that is
The consumers are getting a huge value right now at 50%. This is a liquidation of first run quality products. It won't last long, so this is one opportunity, especially with prices being higher and inventory being difficult to get. We actually have it here for you right in stock, so we look forward to hosting all of you.
Again, that is ShopCadeaux.com for more information. We're joined by the president of Cadeaux, Robert Schickel, with us on the Megacast. And so at this moment in time, during this season, or really just all together, what are some of the more popular packages that you have available to the public that are usually put together at Cadeaux?
So we have some unique items that are one-time onlys, like that are just new products for the year. So we have the Octagon Light from Ginkgo Company, which won all the design awards. It's actually a wireless light that can sit at an entry table, a gift table. It can be a nightstand light. It can also be in the middle of a dining room set where you're wanting to do it. It's USB powered. We also have something called a Caravino, which is a wine decanter that is car finished in red, white, and some other colors that are available to you. But the interesting thing is it has a built-in aerator, and at the bottom of the decanter, out pop wine actual glasses for you. Our cashmere throw is very well priced at like $129. It is always popular and come in a wide range of colors. But we have everything from candles, but more importantly, we've got the confections ready for the holiday. But we also have a Zoom package, a tech pack, that's very popular for people to give everything that you need to do to be ready for an effective and efficient Zoom, from lighting to speakers to the way my computer right now is currently set up. I can change the height and the width of the view. All of that is available, but we'll have everything from mugs to whole dinner sets. If you want to send someone packages of food, whether it be an individual or a large group, our gratitude boards. 2021 is the year of gifting. With entertainment as a priority, people are getting together this year that they haven't. So cutting boards are very popular. We have many things to help a host or hostess gift and entertain for the year. So those are also really popular. Many employers are giving things like that to their staff and or to their customers to show appreciation. Attrition and employee retention is really a big thing in the business. As you've seen in all the papers, people are quitting at astronomical rates. It's difficult to recruit. So we also have things for new hires. And I'll give you an example. One customer, when they've sent their new hire letter to the customer or the employee, we send a package on the third day, and that package arrives at the employee's home that says, "Welcome," and you open it up, and it actually has a sweatshirt, a notebook, a leather-bound book, a water bottle, everything to tell them they've made the right decision and that they're really excited to have them. But more importantly, the employer asked the employee to post it on their website or social media, Instagram, Facebook, and suddenly really good press is going out about the employer. They get hundreds of responses. "You've hired my daughter, she's a winner," or "Who is this company?" And they look them up. And it's been a great recruiting tool for them as well. So gifts can actually be, with intention, a good recruiting tool and a good business enabler, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, Robert, we appreciate having you on. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Have a good day.
You as well. Again, you can learn more information and do some of your shopping yourself over at ShopCadeaux.com. You're listening to your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. After the break, I'll be joined by Rabbi Kazriel Shemtov from Chabad Lubavitch, who'll be talking to me about the Menorah in the D event. That's coming up November 28th at Campus Martius. That will be at 5 p.m. in person on the day of the event, and then it will be 5:30 p.m. for a live stream that day as well. Again, that's November 28th. I'll be talking to Rabbi Shemtov about that and more coming up next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
211, how can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Joining us now is Rabbi Kazriel Shemtov. He's the Vice President of Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan. Back with us on the Megacast to talk about the 11th annual Menorah in the D event coming up at the end of this month. Rabbi, thanks for being with us again.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Good to see you as well. So the 11th annual Menorah in the D event is coming up. It's November 28th at 5 p.m. After last year's virtual-only event, is this year's event also going to be virtual? Is it going to be in-person, hybrid?
This will be hybrid. We'll have in-person and virtual.
And so now that you're back in person partially for this, I mean, there will be a hybrid element to it as well, as you said. But being back in person, has that changed the approach to planning this event? Different from last year's 10th annual and, of course, the last fully in-person event, the 9th annual event. Anything special planned with this back in person, at least partially, event this year?
Well, of course, because when you have in person, that's one type of event. And then we are carrying on what we did last year with bringing this virtually to, people all across the state and the world. And we got to kind of now prepare for both. And that's our plans for this year. It's interesting because we're talking about Hanukkah. And the whole idea of Hanukkah is to bring light. And the first night of Hanukkah, we light one candle. The second light will light 2, the third light will light 3. We're always growing. And last year, just 2 weeks before Hanukkah, we're told that we can't have more than 25, 30 people downtown. And we have to quickly come up with this whole approach of doing a virtual production to be able to share Hanukkah with the city, share Hanukkah with the people of Metro Detroit and beyond. This year, we are coming back together, but we can't go backwards. We have to add. We have to add a light. And therefore, we're doing the combination of both virtual and on-site.
We're joined by Rabbi Kazriel Shem Tov, Vice President of Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan, joining us on the Megacast today. Their 11th annual Menorah in the D event, November 28th at 5 p.m. at Campus Martius. Also will be live streamed, as he mentioned, is a hybrid event. Will be live streamed on Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan's Facebook page and website as well. That live stream will begin at 5:30 on that day, although the event begins at 5 o'clock downtown at Campus Martius on that day. So it's all in celebration of Hanukkah, and for those that don't practice Judaism, or not familiar with the holidays of your faith, for many outside looking in, because of the proximity to other holidays and other faiths such as Christmas and Christianity, they think of Hanukkah as basically it's Christmas for Jewish people. That's not the case, not even close to the case. And you mentioned a little bit of the story of Hanukkah, but give us the summary of what is this holiday, why is it celebrated by those that practice the Jewish faith, and what makes it significant to the faith.
Okay, so the story of Hanukkah takes us back to 200 before the Common Era. And at that time, you had in the Holy Land, you had the Jewish people being persecuted by the Syrian Greeks who were trying to impose their culture onto the Jewish nation and prohibiting them from practicing Jewish religion and culture, or rather Jewish religion. And it was a small band of Jews led by Yehuda the Maccabee that stood up against one of the mightiest armies on earth at that time, and were able to prevail. And they were able to come back to the Holy Temple and rededicate the Holy Temple. And one of the beautiful traditions of the Holy Temple, one of the highlights in the Holy Temple, was the lighting of the menorah, the lighting of the candelabra, which is there to bring light in the Holy Temple and beyond. Now they came back and they found all the oil that was prepared for the menorah defiled spiritually, and there was only one jug of oil that was left with the seal of the high priest. Now, one jug of oil only lasts for one day, but it takes 8 days to produce the new oil. They lit that menorah anyway, and that's where the miracle of Hanukkah took place, that the oil, that one jug of oil lasted for 8 days. So the message of Hanukkah was, first of all, it was an incredible demonstration of how the few and the weak can stand up and stand strong for what they believe in and to be able to do their service, and they were able to prevail. At the same time, it was also a miracle that they were able to take that one jug of oil and have it for 8 days. The significance to us is that we are taught in Jewish tradition that each one of us, every human being, has a jug of oil, that one little jug of oil that's deep within their heart, deep within their soul, that's always there, ready to be lit. And it could come a time of darkness and challenges, and it seems like you're the weak and the few, and you can't survive, you can't overcome your challenges. Hanukkah comes and tells you, light that little jug of oil, light that wick, and your soul is so powerful that you can overcome all your obstacles, and you can be a candle again, you can be a light.
We're joined by Rabbi Kazriel Shem Tov, Vice President of Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan, joining us on the Megacast. Again, their 11th annual Menorah in the D event will be a hybrid. This year, it was all virtual for their 10th annual, a year ago in 2020 due to COVID-19. Of course, this year, a hybrid event, 5 p.m., November 28th. The in-person event begins at Campus Martius. The hybrid event, the live stream, will begin at 5:30 on the Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan Facebook page and their website as well. And so, Rabbi, how does the story of Hanukkah parallel to the perseverance that was required for the people of the Jewish faith and for greater society overall to have persevered through this pandemic and continuing to persevere through this?
I think the message of Hanukkah is what we all need. And there are a lot of people that it was very difficult. There was suffering, and there was a lot of challenges, and people are still struggling. Not all of it we're aware of, but there are many individuals in our community that had a very difficult time and still are challenged with it. And when we're faced as a society with such challenges, that's when we have to understand and be told, and the holiday comes and tells us that, you know what, you can light a candle. And the message really is that each one of us not only lights our own candle, but we can light up the candles around us. You know, I want to share with you an anecdote from over 100 years ago. This is with the fifth Rebbe of Chabad, the spiritual leader of our movement over 100 years ago. And he was once asked, what are you looking to teach to your students? How does one become a chassid? And he said, a chassid is one who becomes a lamplighter. You see, in the old shtetl, in the old city, there were street lamps. And every night there was someone that went around with a long pole with a flame on it, and he would go and light the street lamps by hand. And he says, one has to be a lamplighter. So he asks his teacher, and he says, what happens if those street lamps are very far in the distance? They're in the desert, or they're by the water. It's difficult to get to them. He says, a lamplighter goes into the difficult situations, into the dark situations, and he lights that street lamp so everyone can have that light. And when there is a light, when there is a street lamp, that draws everyone together. It brings a glow, it brings a warmth, and it brings us all to a higher level. So we here, when it comes Hanukkah, we have a celebration at our Menorah in the D event, which is called the Lamplighter Ceremony. Because our focus of Hanukkah is that each and every one of us is a lamplighter, could be a lamplighter. And when it comes a time like COVID, everyone that has the ability needs to go out there and bring that light to their neighbors, to their friends, to their community. And if we all do that, we can become stronger from it. We can bring light to our surroundings.
We're joined by Rabbi Kazriel Shem Tov, Vice President of Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan. Their upcoming 11th annual Menorah in the D event, November 28th at 5 p.m. in person at Campus Martius. The live stream of the event as well at 5:30 p.m. on the Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan Facebook page and website as well. And so for last year, there's a big hit from the virtual version of this event where the at-home lamplighter kits that included a Hanukkah guide, candles, a special lighter, treats, crafts, gelt, postcards, and a menorah as well. Are those going to be back this year after the great response that they got from the 10th annual event?
They are back. They are back. No going backwards, only going forwards. And you know, last year, you remember, you know, we didn't know how things are going to pan out. It was all last minute. And you had hundreds of cars lining up here to receive those kits. And what's interesting is, you know, we had the live stream, which was you were able to pick up from a number of different sources. But then we also had a Zoom opportunity where you actually could be part of the event. So we had over 1,000 families that came. They picked up these kits. They then participated in the menorah lighting all together. And each one in their own home lit their menorah. So it wasn't only lighting it in the city square, but it was joining with the community together. And that was really unique, very special. And although now we're inviting everyone downtown in a safe way, for those that can make it, for those that feel comfortable and are going out, but we also want to give the opportunity for those who can't make it to be able to be at home and be part of this incredible celebration. You know, last year we had over 25,000 people that participated in this event. When you look at the previous year, we had 3,000 to 5,000 people. So even though there was COVID and it seemed like a big challenge, it actually allowed more people to celebrate. And this year we plan to go even further than that. So we all have to bring that light into our homes, into our communities, and continue to grow.
We're joined by Rabbi Kazriel Shem Tov, Vice President of Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan. Again, that event, that Menorah in the D event, on November 28th, 5 p.m. at Campus Martius in downtown Detroit, and 5:30 p.m. for the live stream on the Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan Facebook page and website. And then if you'd like to get the at-home lamplighter kits that were such a big hit for last year's event, those are available. You can reserve them for pickup closer to the event event by going to menorahinthed.com. Rabbi, just another few minutes with you today before we'll say goodbye. Anything else, any other messages for people as we approach the holiday season and as we approach this event, or other things that we should be keeping an eye out for in the near future?
Well, the highlight of Hanukkah is lighting the menorah. And first of all, it's each one personally in their own home. For 8 days, each night we light those candles. So the first thing I would encourage everyone is get your menorah ready, get your candles ready. You should light it with your family in your own home, in addition to coming out November 28th and joining us as a community at large. That's number one. Number two is the message of Hanukkah is universal, because thank God we're in a country that is a country of freedom of religion. We all can practice, and this is really what was the story of Hanukkah. So I would encourage everyone to be able to celebrate in the message of Hanukkah, that we can create a society where we all can participate, we can express our traditions, and we can bring light to each other and the entire community.
Well, Rabbi, we appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today and spreading these messages of Hanukkah that also not only apply to those practicing Judaism, but also to the greater community during the continued crisis that we're dealing with all throughout the world. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
For your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit, or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council,
we work together to protect water resources for everyone.
Most of the pollution entering our rivers is carried by rainwater that runs off roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
A rain garden helps catch stormwater runoff.
Rain gardens and their plants help dirty runoff soak into the ground.
You can do your part to help keep our water clean.
Learn about rain gardens and native plants.
So consider a rain garden in your home landscaping.
Catch the runoff with a rain garden.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. Being 27 and a mom and a wife, and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you.
Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation.
Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime-victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
If you are struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit, or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM. Well, Welcome back to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft in our studio here in West Bloomfield Township. Although we're broadcasting live from 10 a.m. to 12 noon all throughout the state of Michigan on a number of different outlets and live to tape as well as on demand. Learn more information about everywhere that we broadcast and where you can find us on demand by going to our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on our Megacast link. Well, as more things are returning as the pandemic continues, that includes returning shows coming back to theaters, including our Farmington Players over there in Farmington Hills. And joining us now is Jason Wilhoit, the director of their upcoming show, A Hunting Shack Christmas, with us on the Megacast. Jason, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. I appreciate the time.
So the show is nearing its 10th year anniversary. The Farmington Players are nearing their 10th year anniversary, and so they're holding this show coming up November 19th through December 4th at the Farmington Players Theater over there in Farmington Hills. Tell us a little bit about A Hunting Shack Christmas.
So A Hunting Shack Christmas focuses on Charlie, who is our main character. As the holidays are approaching and his 10-year anniversary is approaching, he's kind of going through a little bit of a crisis in his life, and he wants to escape to the hunting shack that's been in his family for generations. He goes up to the shack, and he ends up getting stuck there through a snowstorm, and also finds, instead of the peace and quiet he was looking for, a bunch of unexpected cast of characters that are at the shack squatting, and kind of hijinks ensues from there, and the story unfolds as he kind of goes through discovering himself a little bit, discovering more about his relationship and his family, and the history that they've had at the shack, and kind of where they go into the future as they kind of like have these moments of revelation.
So a lot of different theater companies, a lot of different theaters have had shows back for several months at this point, but some are coming back with their first shows right now. In terms of the Farmington Players, is this the first show they've had back in person since the beginning of the pandemic?
Yeah, this will be our first show back. We open Friday the 19th. We definitely are looking forward to having audiences back in the theater and getting the lights turned back on stage. So it's a very exciting time for the organization.
We're joined by Jason Wilhoit. He is the director of A Hunting Shack Christmas, being put on by the Farmington Players at the Farmington Players Theater in Farmington Hills. That's coming up November 19th through December 4th. Tickets will be $22 for adults, $20 for students, and $20 for people ages 62 and older. Groups can buy tickets now at a discounted rate. And so for you as a director coming back with this first in-person show, what was different for you, and how did it feel coming back to a more regular process of putting on a show?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we were on, hiatus basically for the 18-month pandemic. The Farmington Players have been in operation for, more than 60 years. So we've been doing shows for that amount of time, and it has never happened where we've had that long a break, right, where we have been dark. And it, I have to tell you, was such a joy to go into the theater, to start rehearsals, and finally have something after these 18 months or so of the pandemic that felt very normal and felt very comfortable and back to the regular way of life pre-COVID. We focused on shows that had smaller casts, that were more containable from that standpoint, so that we could keep things as safe as possible and make sure that the environment at the theater for our members and the cast was as safe as possible. And by doing that, I think it let us have a very normal process for rehearsal, which felt very comforting, to have a script in your hand, to be debating plot points and character development and blocking the show in and doing all of the normal things you do, building the set, setting the lights, doing all of that work. Just really, I think for the cast as well as the crew of literally hundreds of people who contribute to a show when we're doing a show at the Farmington Players, getting them back in to build a set and getting them back in to find props and getting them back in to set lights and hang things, I think was just a really welcome back to normal step for a lot of people. And it has been an absolute pleasure and joy to be working on.
We're joined by Jason Wilhoit. He is the director of Hunting Shack Christmas by the Farmington Players, joining us today on the Megacast. That show will begin running this Friday, November 19th, and all the way through December 4th at the Farmington Players Theater. That is located in Farmington Hills. Learn more information on their website and purchase tickets at farmingtonplayers.org. And so, Jason, of course, the holiday season coming up, that's one reason that a show like this may be selected. But coming back out of the pandemic, your first in-person show back with the Farmington Players, what ultimately was the decision, or what was the points that were behind the decision to have that first show back be a Hunting Shack Christmas?
That's a great question. One of the things that I love most about theater is the escape that it provides the audience. You come in, you get in your seat, the lights go down, and we transport you to a place where you can forget about, in many cases, the trials of your day or the situations you might have had going on in your week and in your life, and just really be immersed in that moment. This show provides such a wonderful sense of family, and of, as I always say, it's both the family that you were born with and then the family you choose to put around you. And during this time of the pandemic, I think that has been such a key thing for me, is knowing like who's in my inner circle bubble, if you want to call it that. And this show kind of, I think, underscores like, there are people in your life that are so important to you that you're kind of like ride or die people. And this show kind of focuses on that kind of dynamic and finding those people in your life. And at the end of the day, it's just funny and giving people the escape of the things that happen on stage. There's a lot of physical comedy in this show and a lot of fun moments. There's some musical moments that happen in a play, which is also fun for me as I'm a musical guy. So having that aspect of the show is also, I think, fun for the audience. There's some singing involved, some choreography of sorts. And so it kind of hits all of those points that I think will provide a great escape for the audience. And also a great message around family and finding the people that in your life that will be those that bring you up and build you up and that give you energy and give you hope.
We're joined by Jason Wilhoit. He is the director of A Hunting Shack Christmas by the Farmington Players. Learn more information about the show running November 19th, that's this week Friday, all the way through December 4th by going to their website at farmingtonplayers.org, where you can also purchase tickets, $22 for adults and $20 for students, and people aged 62 or older. Groups can get tickets at a discounted rate. Again, those are available at farmingtonplayers.org or by calling their box office number 248-553-2955. And so, Jason, you mentioned some of the many reasons why families or why individuals may be interested in seeing a show like A Hunting Shack Christmas, and how that contributed to the decision for the Farmington Players to ultimately go with this show for their first show back. How has it been for the cast and the crew coming back with this show as a way for many of them, in some cases, I would imagine, to make their first venture back into the theater in person since the pandemic?
Yeah, I think it's really everyone's first back into theater that's involved, which is really great. And as I said, I think everyone has commented about the normalcy that rehearsal brings to you. Many of us as actors and as people involved in theater have been, doing that for years. And to be able to come back to it and be able to have it feel very natural and normal, I think that has been the sentiment that everyone has said, which has been just a really great thing to experience and see, and really to bring these characters to life through those actors, for me as a director, has been, so encouraging and really, and really a great experience.
We're joined by Jason Wilhoit. He is the director of A Hunting Shack Christmas by the Farmington Players. That show beginning to run on November 19th and running all the way through December 4th at the Farmington Players Theater located in Farmington Hills. Learn more information on their website and purchase tickets at farmingtonplayers.org. Jason, just another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye. Anything else at this time that the audience should know about this upcoming show, or anything else we haven't discussed about the Farmington Players?
Just one thing I'd say from a logistics standpoint, we have taken the steps that, all of the cast and crew have been vaccinated fully in order to participate this year. We are making sure that everyone who comes to see a show, at least for a Hunting Shack Christmas, is prepared to be masked during the performance. Whether you're vaccinated or not, we want everyone to come as safely as they can. So a few kind of policy changes we have made for this production, and we are looking forward to having the audiences come in as safe a way as possible. And the other thing I'd say is on Friday, tickets will go on sale for our second production, Tokens of Affection, that will open in February. So that's a very exciting thing as well, that as the first show opens, the second show already has been cast. They're going to get started with rehearsals as well, and those tickets will go on sale Friday for Tokens of Affection, which is our next show in February of 2022.
Well, Jason, we appreciate your time. Thank you for telling us more about this upcoming show, Hunting Shack Christmas, which will begin on Friday this week.
Thank you. My pleasure. It's been fun.
Again, you can purchase tickets at farmingtonplayers.org. That is farmingtonplayers.org. And to purchase tickets, that show begins November 19th. That's this week, Friday, and runs all the way through December 4th. And that will be at the Farmington Players Theater located in Farmington Hills. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, I'll be joined by the CEO of PC Miracles, Dan Izadorek, who will talk about preventing fraud. This is Fraud Awareness Week now through November 21st. And he'll tell me a number of different ways that you can secure your devices to make sure that you don't fall victim to fraud and you protect your personal information. That is coming up next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around. And I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike? And you did. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council.
As partners working together to protect our water resources, we agree.
Pet waste is the source of harmful bacteria in the Huron River.
When it's left on the ground, it can wash into the storm drains.
These lead directly to our streams. No filters, no treatment.
Here's one thing we know that can help keep our water clean.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
So pick up pet waste and trash it.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Who is struggling right now?
I am.
My son is.
Many are struggling with anxiety, depression, and substance use. Before it becomes a crisis, reach out to MyCal, the Michigan Crisis and Access Line, for free confidential support 24/7. Available in the Upper Peninsula and Oakland County. Just call or text 1-844-44-MyCal or chat online at michigan.gov/MyCal. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Motorcyclists are hard to see. To keep everyone safer, it's important to always look for them and know where most crashes occur. 84% of motorcycle and vehicle crashes happen on streets, not highways. And most crashes with motorcyclists occur when vehicle drivers are turning left. So before turning, especially to the left, make sure you look for motorcyclists. Then look again. It could save a life.
To Sophia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keith. Just a programming note for today's show. We do have a West Bloomfield Township Board West Bloomfield Township Board meeting that is coming up at 12 noon today. And so we will be ending our show 5 minutes early at 11:55 a.m. today. But normally we are 10 a.m. to 12 noon. I know it's disappointing for some of you to like that extra 5 minutes that we normally have there. Some of you will just, go with that, but not today. Only today, the Township Board meeting at 12 noon. That's why we want to get right ahead, a little bit early to our final guest today. Joining us now is Dan Izadorek. He is the CEO of PC Miracles, as it is Fraud Awareness Week now through November 21st. He's joining us now to talk about ways that you can secure your information and your devices to avoid becoming a victim of fraud or having your information tampered with. Dan, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. How's your day?
Going well so far. How are you, Dan?
Good.
So appreciate having you on. So it is Fraud Awareness Week, and the goal this week is to shine a spotlight on fraud and explore opportunities for educational opportunities for people to learn more about ways that they can secure their information and avoid fraud, especially now during the holiday season where with a lot more people shopping online over the last 20 months plus because of the pandemic and because of the availability of different shopping options, people are a little bit more susceptible to fraud online than they had been in years past.
Correct. Very true.
So what are some common tips that you give for people as they're doing online shopping or as they're engaging anywhere online today to avoid becoming a victim to fraud?
Okay. So a couple of highlights out there are, first, when you're shopping online, do your best to find a site that has a good reputation. If it's not a well-known site, but they maybe sell a niche product, make sure to go check reviews on them. Make sure that they're legitimate out there. They have a track record. Outside of that, a lot of scams come over email today related to shipping related to your packages. And people are very open to clicking on them very rapidly, saying, hey, your package is delayed from FedEx, things of that nature. And when it comes to that, if it's saying which site that is sending you that email related to your package delivery, the safe thing to do is not to click on any links in there. It is to log into that site and check the status right there. What happens is a lot of the times you click on that link, it looks identical to the site that you ordered from, except for the address has one different character. And so you think you're in the legit site. It asks you to log in. Once you log in, they gather all your information. In addition to that, the final thing that I'd say, there's many things you can do, but another great thing to do over the holidays is you can use virtual credit card numbers. So what I mean by that is you log into your Amex, your Visa, your Chase, your MasterCard. A lot of those sites will give you a temporary credit card number that only works for a day or two. So if you're to go shopping and it is one of those sites that maybe doesn't have such a large reputation, and you use that credit card, and it does happen to be a site that has some fraud related to it, they go to use that virtual credit card a day or two later, and it won't work. So those are some avenues there.
We're joined by Dan Izadorek. He is the CEO of PC Miracles with us today on the Megacast. And so, Dan, you mentioned those phishing emails or suspicious websites, but there's a lot of different situations where people have to provide some personal information over the web, whether it be for applying for loans or whether it be for filling out some information for making a purchase, paying the rent, their utilities, and so on. Some personal information, it's just frankly unavoidable to have it out there virtually, but there are ways that you can secure that information better at the device level or at your home internet connection level to prevent breaches in that regard. What are some tips that you have for people to be able to find additional security or take additional security measures either on individual devices or on their home or work connections?
Okay. So the first thing that I would recommend is when you're logging into a site and you do need to give information, always make sure that when you look up at the top of the bar that there's a little lock there. It's showing that the website is using encrypted traffic. Sometimes that's something that's overlooked. It's not as much an issue today with some of the major sites, but some of the smaller sites out there, you might see that. Another thing you can do to secure your information and maybe you're on a public Wi-Fi or things of that nature, or a connection you're not familiar with, is make sure you have on your sites, on your logins to like your mortgage company and other places, multi-factor authentication, so that when you do log into these sites, they send you a text to your phone that validates that it's you. Because if you're on a connection you're not familiar with, then there's a chance that information can be gathered. But if you have multi-factor authentication in place where you get that text, there's no threat to anyone getting your logins that can be harmful to you. When it comes to doing stuff from home, always make sure that you have a good up-to-date antivirus software and security software on your computer. And then I would also recommend, as a parent, I don't allow my children to use my devices because they get a little click happy at times. So, I want this free Robux, for my games and all this. So they have their own device, which is completely separate from mine, and that helps a lot with security.
We're joined by Dan Izadorek. He is the CEO of PC Miracles, joining us on the Megacast. As it is National Fraud Awareness Week, shining a spotlight on fraud and exploring opportunities for education support and prevention. National Fraud Week, November 14th through November 21st. And in terms of businesses, because a lot of businesses, especially those that are operating virtually in some sense, or having people filing in and out of the office where they may be using personal or work devices on multiple networks, what are some steps that they can take right now to secure devices and secure their own networks so that their own internal systems aren't being infected or maybe even locked down in something like a ransomware attack?
So majority of businesses today already have a firewall at their premise. So that's an easy one on the list. But the challenge that you brought up is today a lot of people are working from home because of what happened in our world, and several businesses that don't have a very proactive approach from their IT company or their in-house IT has kind of foregoed looking at the security requirements for team members working from home. Or what happened was there was a rapid deployment, as we all know, of people working from home. And so we kind of got Band-Aids put in place to get them to be able to operate, and didn't follow up back behind it with the necessary security needs to make sure that those systems are secure from home. What I do recommend for businesses, if you don't have a proper security footprint in your company where you can allow team members to come in securely from any device, even if it's owned by the team member, then I highly recommend you provide them a work laptop that is secured by your IT department or your external IT provider.
We're joined by Dan Izadorek. He is the CEO of PC Miracles, joining us on the Megacast today. And so we've heard a lot more, and I mentioned it before in the previous question. We've heard a lot more recently about ransomware attacks in a number of different sectors. Some have made national headlines, such as the pipeline that fell victim to ransomware just a few months ago that affected a number of people down south. It's becoming seemingly more common of late. What are some steps, you mentioned some of them already, that companies can take to either prevent ransomware attacks, or in the event that they fall victim to it, restore their information without having to be held, frankly, hostage by these hackers?
Yeah, so really the number one thing, actually two things that a company can do, is have a solid backup solution in place that is tested frequently being at least monthly manually, and tested daily by the tool itself, and making sure that you have a backup that is outside of your office or your main location. And the reason being is because if something happens where you do have ransomware there, it's not going to affect that external backup that you have in place. So that's the first thing. The second thing is make sure that you have a good cybersecurity policy in place. They're still somewhat reasonable, but the prices of the cybersecurity policies are increasing. But the nice thing about going through the exercise of doing a cybersecurity policy quote is it will show you the vulnerabilities that you might have today that they require that you patch up. And it gives you a roadmap for the items that you need to address that will make your company more secure, even if you don't institute the policy with the provider.
We're joined by Dan Izadorek, CEO of PC Miracles, joining us on the Megacast as it is Fraud Awareness Week now through November 21st. One of the many steps that people can take to prevent their information from being stolen, from being maliciously used, to prevent hacks in their devices and in their systems, is setting strong passwords. What are some tips that you have for individuals and for businesses to set their passwords and make sure that they're securing their devices best?
Yeah, so previously in the past, we all thought the standard was to do 8 characters, uppercase, lowercase, different characters such as that. There's a lot of studies out there today that now show you're actually better off if you do a phrase, but it has to be longer. It has to be 13, 14, 15 characters. And when you get to and it doesn't have to have unique characters, it can just be a long phrase. And there's studies showing that that takes years to crack. So if you can do that and pair it with multi-factor authentication where you get that text on your phone, putting the multi-factor in place on everything. If you put it on your Facebook account, you put it on your LinkedIn, you put it on everything, that will reduce your risk of somebody breaching into your accounts. I think it's 99.98% is the metric on that. So. Does that help?
Yeah, that's definitely helpful information. I think for a lot of people, too, they get the suggestion that you don't want to use the same password or very similar passwords across multiple devices or across multiple systems. For a lot of people, what their answer to that would then be, well, that makes it really tough for me to remember all my passwords because I may think one password is something that I'm using on one account versus the other, may get them mixed up, I may forget them. What advice do you have for people and for businesses as they're providing variety in their passwords across systems and across different entities to remember their passwords or to store their passwords? Are there secure ways for people to do that in today's age?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. So there's many tools out there like LastPass, RoboForm, all those. Those are great personal tools for somebody to manage all their passwords. Just make sure when you use that tool that you're logging into it, you also have multi-factor authentication into it because it is the gate into all your logins. So it's very critical. But with that said, when it comes to business, there are similar tools to that, but they're built for corporate use. Highly recommend that because if you have somebody that leaves your team, you don't want them to be able to take those logins with them. So that's something to consider. Now, with that said, that's a great way. And I personally use password managers myself to manage all that. The other thing is if you do have multi-factor authentication on multiple things, you can then use the same password because then it's texting you for that unique code to get in, and it does make your life a lot easier.
We're joined by Dan Izadorek. He is the CEO of PC Miracles, joining us on the Megacast. And Dan, we have a few more minutes, so I want to give you some time to talk about your business, about PC Miracles, and some of the services that you provide to people out in our local area.
I appreciate it. So yeah, we've been in business 27 years. We're headquartered in downtown Pontiac, and we've been in downtown Pontiac just over 4 years. We focus on healthcare providers, legal, manufacturing. We have retail, and so we have because we've been around so long, we have a whole breadth of client base that we work with. What I'd like to offer out to anyone out there that does have a business, if there's something in your gut that you say, hey, maybe something just doesn't feel right with your IT today, your backups or something like that, we can have a very easy discussion, and I can help educate you on some things that you might have takeaways that you can just institute, and you don't even need to work with us. So I'm a big believer in sharing and educating out there, and everything comes around, so in a good way.
Well, Dan, we appreciate your time and helping us share and educate people on avoiding fraud during this Fraud Awareness Week, and also securing their devices and their systems as we're in a much more technical world and more connected world than ever before. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You as well. We're pleased to have been joined by Dan Izadorek, the CEO of PC Miracles, and a big thank you to him and all of our guests today for joining us on the Megacast. Again, we're just ending a couple of minutes early as we have other broadcast obligations here at our flagship at Civic Center TV. So big thank you to Dan, as well as Jason Wilhoit, director of A Hunting Shack Christmas with the Farmington Players, Rabbi Kazriel Shemtov from Chabad Lubavitch, Robert Shekel, the president of ShopCadeaux out of West Bloomfield, and Mickey Guisewite, the executive director and founder of the Bottomless Toy Chest. You can find all of our full shows and interviews on demand and learn more information about our partnering television, radio, and other media outlets by going to our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast. Also, highly encourage you to go to our coronavirus page as well, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. Keep up to date on each day's biggest headlines across the state of Michigan on the COVID front and beyond, and find that information about COVID-19 that's so critical, that's accurate, that's factual, and gives you the right context from experts at the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division. Big thank you to our entire crew. Of course, Calvin Brown, as always, our studio producer and board operator, Jared Clark, our Zoom producer over there in our Troy office at My Michigan TV, and then Larry Nyland, our booking producer, getting the shows prepared each and every day for us to do our live 10 a.m. to 12 noon program. Also, big thank you to Maddie Mushkin and Kevin Walsh helping us out at Master Control. That is going to do it for today's edition of the Megacast. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have live coverage of the West Bloomfield Township Board meeting. Then at 12 noon on My Michigan TV, it's Steve Lato Live. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.